Welcome back, my friends. It is that time of the week again. How the devil are you? Are you fabulous? You look fabulous. I am marvellous. I had a lovely weekend. We live near the beach and I was out on the water. And yesterday I did far too much paddleboarding. So if you notice today, I'm like dancing like your dad, not lifting my arms up. That is why. So yes, welcome. So thank you for joining me for episode 14 of Going Solo, the weekly podcast for solopreneurs who want to make life and business work for them and not the other way around. As always, I'm Knight Dutkewich with very sore arms, corporate dropout turned business coach, and someone who learned the extremely hard way. I'm not a quick study. What it actually takes to run a successful solo business. Today, like every week, I am breaking down the real strategies, the mindset shifts, and yes, just a little bit of woo-woo to help you to build a profitable business on your own terms. Because, my friends, it is not the market. It is not your toxic ex-micromanaging boss. It is what is going on between those two lovely ears of yours. So today we are going to tackle something that will absolutely change the way your business makes money. I'm like a little dinosaur. And that is to stop selling coaching programs nobody buys. So we're going to stop trying to sell coaching programs nobody is buying and start building offers that convert. Okay, so here's the thing. And I see this all the time with coaches. Their programs are often amazing, like really, really good stuff. And the transformation they deliver is often life-changing. Coaches are often in this work because they really, really care and they really want to help people change their lives in all the best ways possible. But the problem is, if your offer, if that vehicle by which you take that to market isn't irresistible, nobody's going to buy it. And potential clients will sit on the sidelines, unsure of whether they really need it, and you won't be making any money. So if that is you today, don't give yourself a hard time. Welcome to Entrepreneurship, my friends. I have been where you are. It is possible to get to the other side. Let me help you out. Okay, so most coaches are inadvertently selling what I call vitamins or vitamins. Now, vitamins are nice to have programs that feel good but are easy to postpone and put off. Now, are vitamins good for you? Absolutely. I have a cupboard full of them downstairs. I don't always take them. So I always tell people, if you think about the difference between a vitamin and a painkiller. So I get migraines. And today I might be taking some Advil muscles. Did I mention I went paddleboarding? So the thing about vitamins is if you take B6 or magnesium or, I don't know, vitamin D, after sort of 4, 5, 6 weeks, you will start to feel better. You know, glossier hair. The problem is it takes a long time for it to kick in. And the onus is on the person taking them. It takes a big effort to remember to take them. It takes a long time to kick in. And you have to be really careful because lots of them clash. So when I've got a migraine, I know that magnesium is really good for migraines. And I know that it's going to take 3 weeks to kick in. When I've got a migraine, I reach for Tylenol extra strength migraine relief. I don't have 6 weeks to wait till that kicks in. You know, I have an hour. I have an hour that I can cope. This is kind of the same thing with coaching, is clients aren't looking for a nice to have. They are waking up desperate to be out of pain. Now, that pain can be a literal pain, like a negative pain. Or that pain can also be not living the life they're supposed to be, under-earning, under-fulfilling their potential, taking another year and not losing weight. Whatever that sort of pain is, it can also be that they're not stepping into aspiration. So people wake up desperate for painkillers, those solutions to urgent, high-stake problems that they can't ignore. One of the things that many coaches don't grasp, and this took me years to grasp, is that entrepreneurship is completely opposite to corporates. I call it opposite land sometimes. So welcome to opposite land if you're an entrepreneur. So the things and the thinking that led you to do well in your corporate career won't not only not help you as a solopreneur, but it will actually get in the way. Yay! Welcome to opposite land, my friends. So one of the primary examples of this is how we think about adding value. I was in corporate for a long time, lots of my clients were. So in corporates, we often add value through generating, analysing, facilitating and trading information and data. Okay? Whole conglomerates run on data. And the more data you have, the higher up the chain you go. And at some point, hopefully somebody takes some action on that data. So most people who are starting coaching businesses or solopreneur businesses, they act in the same way that made them previously successful, which makes sense, right? It makes completely sense. If this worked for me in the past, I'm going to try it again in the future. Of course, that makes sense. Unfortunately, that is not how it works over here in opposite land, in Entrepreneurville. So lots of people come to me frustrated that they're not selling enough or no one's buying at the prices they want. And one of the things I can tell right away is that they are trying to create leads and sell services via the exchange of information. And if you take... If you take one thing from today, people don't buy information, they buy transformation. That could go on a t-shirt, couldn't it? One more time. People don't buy information, they buy transformation. Now, let's just think about that for a second. Think of the internet. Think about the information age that we live in. There are hundreds of thousands of courses and frameworks and coaching programs that teach, and online courses and podcasts, teaching concepts and strategies. But most of those programs don't sell. And not because they're bad or not useful, but simply because information alone doesn't solve an urgent pain. One more time. Information alone doesn't solve an urgent pain. Your clients aren't looking for more knowledge. And I love this quote from, I think it was Derek Silvers. He did this fantastic TED talk that you might remember. I'm going to explain this really badly, but he did a TED talk. It was on about the tipping points in, I think it was called How to Start a Movement. And he basically, some people sat al fresco and one person started to dance. And he looked really bonkers. He looked really crazy. Nobody else was dancing. And then kind of another person started to dance. And then slowly, there came this tipping point where like the whole crowd was starting to dance. And one of the things that came out of that TED talk was this fabulous, one of my favorite quotes, which was that if more information was the answer, we'd all be billionaires with apps. If more information was the answer, we'd all be billionaires with knots. And because we're not, are we? We are not sort of short of information. And most of us aren't billionaires with apps yet. There is more than enough information out there. There is probably far too much. But that's not how we as human beings make decisions. We as humans are looking to change our reality. We want to go from one emotional state to another. We want to go from stuck is a word I hear all the time, stuck or overwhelmed to confident and empowered and successful. We want our emotions, those vibrations in our body and our circumstances to shift, and we want it now. The other thing about we humans is we are designed for instant gratification. It's just your brain over evolution trying to keep you alive by avoiding pain, saving energy and doing something pleasant. And that doing something pleasant, or that dopamine, is that instant gratification. We want it. We want it now, to quote the lovely Freddie Mercury. Come back, Freddie, we miss you. So what coaches tend to do when they go to market, health coach, for example, they will start showing up and showing and teaching people about calories, because they want to, they're trying to be helpful. Coaches are good people most of the time. They want to share their knowledge and they want to help people, and it's a beautiful thing. But they go to market talking about teaching people how to read nutrition labels. And one of the things you want to do as a coach or an entrepreneur in general is to stay away from anything that an app can do. Can an app tell you to read a nutrition label? Heck yes. I don't use it very often, clearly. I think it's called MyFitnessPal on my phone. I can scan the barcode on a delicious bagel, and it will literally tell me everything's in there. And it will go a step further. It will tell me red, amber, or green. Red, amber, or green. So it will make that decision for me. If what you do or what you're talking about can be done by an app, don't do that. You won't make any money. So if it can be done by an app, by a Google search, by ChatGPT or some sort of AI framework, stay away from it. The other thing you want to avoid as a coach, anything that somebody else's insurance plan is going to pay for. Coaching is out of pockets. Coaching is out of pockets. Lots of coaches that struggle that I see are not distinguishing themselves enough away from therapy or counselling or nutrition, a nutritionist. Anything whereby somebody's insurance plan will pay, big gap. Keep a big gap away from that, because they will go for if out of pocket or somebody else is paying, which one are they going to pick? It won't be you, my lovely. It won't be you. Okay, so go back to that health coach for a second. And I'll say this, I'm an overweight person. People aren't overweight because they don't know how to read a nutritional label. I can see all the goodies inside that bagel. Why would they get out their credit card? They're going to get out their credit card to look and feel better in their jeans, to get back into all those skinny jeans that are in your wardrobe in the other room. They pay to feel energized and healthy and in control of their eating and in control of their body. So there's a real gap between what clients want and what coaches talk about. Okay, so that's just one example. A career coach, lots and lots of career coaches everywhere. If you are going to market as a career coach, stop, come see me. Right. People don't pay for interview theory. Nobody cares. Nobody cares about interview theory. Now, I am not saying that some interview prep and interview role-playing isn't a useful thing to do. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying stop trying to sell interview theory. What people want from a career coach is to land a job and feel the relief of financial security. That's what you should be selling. Now, one of the things I talk to my clients about a lot is you want to sell people what they want and give them what they need. One more time. You want to sell people what they want. I want a massage right now. You want to sell people what they want and give them what they need. If you are a career coach, for the love of all that is holy, stop selling interview prep. Stop selling interview theory. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. You want to sell the landing of the job, the next promotion, the being recognized and financially rewarded for the contributions they're already making. Sell that. Sell that. Okay. Parenting coaches. Parenting coaches don't pay for strategies. They can turn on YouTube and look at, what was that name? Her name was Jo too. Like the nanny. They can look for techniques on there. They are paying for calm mornings and bedtimes that they don't dread. I used to dread bedtime. That's not fun. That's not fun. They pay for calm mornings and not dreading bedtime. You want to sell that? You want to sell that? And if you're listening to this and that feels like you, or you feel a bit triggered, it's okay. All the best people do it. I used to do this all the time. So early on in my career, I tried to replicate everything that made me successful in corporate. Makes sense. Nobody bought. Nobody bought. It was a shock and a half. And I started by I didn't sell any, trying to sell programs based on, I cringe even when I'm saying it, how to get out of your own way with self-leadership. My offer was how to get out of your own way with self-leadership, because in my brain, that made complete sense. We're all in our own way. And most people would probably agree with that. And because I understand self-leadership, I understand logically that when we manage all of that stuff, it kind of opens up the door to everything. Nobody bought. And so why? Predominantly 3 reasons. Firstly, I was selling information, not transformation. I was talking about the 4 pillars of leadership, the 4 wards. Clever. I thought it was clever. The 4 wards of self-leadership. See if I can remember them. Self-management, self-discipline, managing your mindset. Can't remember the other one. There was 4. This is what I think. I can't even remember it years later. So I was selling information. Primary problem. Second problem is no one knew what the actual truck I was talking about. Nobody knew. And I remember at the time a couple of coaches saying to me, I don't really know what that means. And I got quite aloof. I was like, well, if you don't know what get out of your own way means, I can't help you. And I really took a stand. This is a theme in my life. And I really took a stance in terms of, I'm not worried about the people that don't get it. And that cost me a lot of frustration, time, and money. So when other people tell you they don't understand, believe them. Don't try and academia your way out of it. The other thing I really resisted as coaches used to tell me to speak in grade 5 language. And I was a bit of a language snob. And so I would really push back and go, I don't want my clients who speak in grade 5 language. Now, I work with highly intelligent people. The reason those people got to see me in the first place was my messaging was so clear enough that a grade 5er could understand it. So I used to really push back on, I didn't want to dumb it down. What I've learned is it's not about dumbing it down. It's to make it universally understood for people in a hurry. As much as we are obsessed about our business, as much as we know every piece of content we've ever written, as much as we know how all of it intersects and connects, everybody else isn't as obsessed with us as we are. I know. Shocker. How rude. It's true. So we are but a flash in the pan of their day. So you want to make it really, really explicit quickly. So the first reason I was selling information. The second reason, nobody knew what I was talking about. The problems. And the third reason that get out of your own way is none of us, myself included, want it pointed out that we are the problem. None of us want to hear that. Of course we don't. So I'm going to market, literally say, you're the problem. Let me fix you. Give me your credit card. Shockingly, didn't work. A couple of reasons we don't want to think we're the problem is we already kind of know that. We already suspect that we are the problem. And we're already in pain. And so even if we know that cerebrally, we don't need somebody else pointing it out to us. Building a relationship where somebody ends up buying from you is a relationship. People have to feel like they know, like, and trust us. One of the reasons I do these podcasts, and they're not polished, it's just me showing up with my sore arms, is so that people can start to get to know me and make a decision about whether they like or trust me. Now, lots of people are going to get to know me and go, she's not for me. And that's okay. If you suspect I'm not for you, you are 100% right. I wish you well. Namaste. Okay. other people are for me. So the more you can show up as who you really are, the more people can get to the like and trust part quicker. So we don't want to think that we are the problem. And so once I reframed my offer to focus on freedom, both time-wise and financial, more joy, less stress, more time with family, everything shifted in my business. So the first step to building offers that start to sell themselves is to stop selling concepts and information. And when I say sell, I'm not just talking about when the offer goes to market. I'm talking about the whole way in which you show up. If you take a look at your content strategy and it is all around, the 5 things that get in the way to do this, stop. Maybe once a week. You can get that on Google. What people want to know is that it is possible for somebody like them to go from this pain to this brighter day. Show that. Show that. Show them what is possible. Show them a future that is possible that they haven't even imagined. Okay, you want to, all emotional. Okay, so you want to start selling the transformation your client craves the most. The urgent pain relief, the new reality that they desperately want. That is your painkiller. Okay, so here's how to spot the difference between a vitamin offer and a painkiller offer. So a vitamin offer could be learn how to feel more confident in your business. Learn how to feel more confident in your leadership. Is feeling more confident in your business and your leadership a good thing? Yeah. It's nice, but it's optional. It's optional. They're not going to take out their credit card straight away. There are going to be other things that come up. They're probably going to go to cost for 2 weeks because they feel like because they suspect that taking a break from the world and getting some sun and Greek, aubergine, best aubergine in the world in Greece, will help them to get relief quicker. So they won't have, $5,000 for your program, but they would drop $10,000 to go to Greece in a heartbeat because that's a painkiller compared to feeling more confident in their business. Okay. So instead of that kind of learn to feel more confident in your business, the painkiller version would be something like get 3 high-paying clients in the next 60 days. And then you want to do without, and that kind of sounds all well and good, but the first thing the human brain will do is go, oh, that's all well and good, but I bet it means doing this. Now, if you're in sales or trying to sell something, if you're a coach, you're in sales, by the way, there's a whole nother episode called Make Peace with the Fact. If you're a coach, you are primarily a salesperson. Took me years to get rid of. My name's Jo. I am in sales. So the first thing that's going to come up is all of the objections that they don't want to do. So for coaches, it's often, I like making money, but I don't like selling because selling is slimy. For years, I used to say, I hate sales. And of course, what happened when I went to the world saying I hate sales, the world went, okay then, no sales for you. I love sales. I love sales. I love sales without cold DMs and doing anything that makes me want to shower afterwards. Sales doesn't have to be sleazy. So the painkiller offer could be get 3 high-paying clients in the next 60 days without cold DMs. Okay. Another thing I see is they come to me, and particularly if they're doing a masterclass, and they sort of want to show people their 5-step process. These are my 5 C's. Nobody cares about your 5 C's, Carol. Now, does that mean the 5 C's aren't useful? No, it doesn't. They are beautiful. Love them. In corporate, they'd have got you a promotion. In opposite lands, try not to swear. Crickets. Crickets. So I see a lot of people going to market saying, learn my 5-step meditation process. No, you can Google it. You can get it from Spotify. Nobody's going to pay you for that. What they will pay you for is to stop panic attacks in 10 minutes or less, anytime, anywhere. Okay? Now, because you are an intelligent coach and you understand how it all links together, Carol knows that her 5-step meditation process will stop panic attacks. So that's the logic. Carol knows that if you understand how to do these 5 steps, you can stop panic attacks. The problem is, Carol, nobody else knows. Nobody else knows. All they know is that they want to stop their panic attack in as short a time as possible. Wherever they are, whether they're on the bus or in the office, they want it to stop anywhere. Now, this is what I mean by sell people what they want, give them what they need. So they want to stop panic attacks in 10 minutes. Now, do you need to be able to fix that? Absolutely. Please don't hear that. I'm not saying that. You have to give people what they've paid for, because you won't get any other business. One of the reasons I do so well is the number of referrals I get. That is because I do what I say I'm going to do. So once you've got them in the door with how to stop panic attacks in 10 minutes, then have at her and share your 5-step meditation process. That is what they need. It's not what they want. Sell them what they want, give them what they need. Another example could be for a relationship coach. Build your relationship skills. What does that mean? What does that mean? And is that something that would have been an objective in corporate? Yes. It would probably be on their PDR that they needed to work on their relationship skills. You know who you are. That's not going to work in entrepreneurship. The Painkiller offer would be rebuild trust with your partner in 8 weeks after a betrayal. Okay? Now, they're going to come to you because somebody's just strayed in the marriage. They are heartbroken. They've got 3 kids and a mortgage. They've got 20 years with this person. Are they invested? Absolutely. They're absolutely invested. Are they heartbroken? Absolutely. Do they need to improve their relationship skills? Probably. Is that what's going to get their attention? No. What's going to get their attention is to rebuild trust with their partner in 8 weeks after a betrayal. Well, how not to stab your partner with a rusty spoon after they did the dirty on you. And that's the difference. Painkillers solve real urgent pain in a short amount of time. So painkiller offers solve real urgent pain. Vitamins are optional. Vitamins are really, really good for you. They're a beautiful thing. People make lots and lots of money with vitamins. The companies that make the most money in the world, the Procter & Gamble's, they're selling painkillers. They are literally selling Advil and Tylenol to get you out of pain. The other thing about painkillers is people will pay top dollar for relief from pain, but almost nothing for nice to have information. People spend much more money on Advil than they do on vitamin D. So I was telling my clients the other day, I live in the middle of nowhere. There's a little village store just between us and the beach. I'd run out of migraine tablets and I could kind of feel it coming on. And I dispatched the husband for migraine relief, like the gel capsules, like the fast acting. And he came back from the store and he was like, that was $40 for 12 tablets. $40. And I remember him saying, like, in the town, it's like $12, but this local store, that's $40. And I remember saying to him, I don't care. Oh, and he bought it. He bought them. It was like, I don't care, because at that point, it ripped me off. Local store, rip me off. Stop this migraine from escalating. Now, I'm not talking about ripping anybody off. I'm not suggesting that. Just using a clumsy example for the fact that people will pay top dollar to get out of pain. The quicker you can get them out of pain, the more they will pay. That's the other thing. I see all these coaches creating like come on a 6-month journey, 12-month journey to like discover your purpose. Let me just be real with you. Nobody wants to go on a 6-month or a 12-month journey with you. Nobody. Not even your spouse probably doesn't really, if they're being honest. People want to get out of pain as quickly as possible. They also want to get out of pain as effortlessly to them as possible. And that's really, really important. Your clients are always responsible for doing the work, but you don't want to make them do the heavy lifting. You want to make it as easy as possible for them to get out of pain. The reason when clients work with me that they get, they not only get one-to-one and group coaching, we also do somatic exercises like EFT tapping once a week. I do that to help them get out of pain quicker. It's in my interest and their interest. I do deep dives on subjects that are already in their workbooks because more information isn't the answer. My clients will come along to like a weekly deep dive and I'll go into creating painkiller offers that sell themselves. And they will be blown away of how much progress they make. All of that stuff was in the workbook. They've already seen it or glanced over it. That's not how human beings work. You as the coach and the solopreneur want to take the heavy lifting, as much as the heavy lifting on for them as possible. Okay, because they just want quick pain. And does that mean they can't do anything? Absolutely not. But our job as coaches is to make it as easy as possible to get that transformation as effortlessly as possible. And that is why we're able to charge a premium. Okay. All right. So if you are listening to this, I would encourage you to take a look at how you are going to market. Take a look at those offers. Take a look what you're trying to sell. Take a look at your next masterclass title. And I want you to think about, is this a vitamin? Is this a nice to have, but I can press pause? Is this a nice to have, but circle back? Circle back. Circle back to me in 6 months. Or is this a, oh my goodness, I need this now? Make it an, oh my goodness, I need this now, and watch everything change. All right. Thank you for joining me, you fabulous people. I hope this has helped. And remember, just because you're going solo doesn't mean you're alone. I've got you. Until next time, take care.